join can go back and watch, and it won't take very long. I just kind of want to hit the highlights. It's a very simple system to use.
Okay.
Cassie and I have been over it, and she was really excited about it. And you guys, working in OB kind of have a small group. And
Mm-hmm.
anyway, I know we've historically kept the schedule on just a spreadsheet on the shared drive, and sometimes people have trouble accessing it and that kind of thing. So I'm excited that LifeLink has kind of moved forward with this, and we'll do this system wide. So are you credentialed to work at any other facilities?
I am honestly not sure.
Okay, I don't think that you are, but I could be wrong. But if you are, you'll use MyStaff schedule for all facilities, and everything will kind of look the same, across all sites. We tried to keep everything uniform in the way it looks and feels across all sites. So that's one good thing. And then you'll kind of have a one-stop shop for any LifeLink scheduling you do. So I'm
Okay.
going to share my screen here. That's the wrong screen. Hold on. Um, There we go. So can you see my screen? You may be on
I
a
can.
phone.
I
Okay.
can.
Okay. Very good. So this is the view that you will have as a provider once you log into the system. And so you said you were able to go in and change your password. That's good. So
Mm-hmm.
you can either go on a computer on the browser to mystaffschedule.com, or you can download the mobile app to your phone and you can log in with the same credentials there. And that mobile app's really nice. It, a lot of times it changes the way it looks a lot from the computer to the mobile app, but this one
Right.
is really nice, and the view is good, and there's a lot of different features that you can use through the mobile app too. So that's a plus to this system. So if you have time, make sure to download that too, so you can use that. So
Okay.
again, this is the main view that you'll have when you log into the system, and this just shows all of our OB providers at St. Francis and kind of what the schedule is for this particular week.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you wanted to go to a week ahead, you can do that. There's this little block up here where the blue bubbles are, and in the middle you'll see today's date. And
Mm-hmm.
say you wanted to look at the week of Thanksgiving in November, you can just click on any date that week, really, and the whole week will pull up here. So you can see who's scheduled, and it looks like you're off that week. But you
Yeah,
can
I
see,
am.
what's happening that week. You'll notice on Thanksgiving Day, we have this holiday code in here, and we
Uh-huh.
really just do that to make sure everybody knows it's not a day you can pick up for an extra shift or anything. We just need that one provider doing call on that day, and it looks like Erica is scheduled for that particular day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so like I said, you can look through a week at a time. You can advance to a particular week that you might be interested in, or whatever the case may be, and that's really easy to do navigating up here on this section.
Okay.
Now, there's some different views that you can look at. If you see under here, it has the print view, so you can look at 1 week, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, or the whole month. So I'm just going to pull up the whole month here. It's going to pull up November because that's where I was on that section
Mm-hmm.
above. But this will show the whole month of November, who's scheduled for each day, and who's on the day shift, who's on the call shift. Again, the holidays are listed here for Thanksgiving and what we have happening there. Now you can change it to a calendar view if you like that kind of view.
Oh,
So it'll
nice.
show you like a traditional calendar and who's scheduled for what day. You'll see Cassie's got some PTO time in here for this one
Mm-hmm.
week. And like whoever's working on that day shift, you might see the PTO. But let me point this out too. It's not gonna whatever's listed as PTO, that's not something that's going to transition back to Paycom. So we might have PTO listed, like if you guys are choosing your weeks and days and stuff for 2026, and you say, well,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be on vacation for this week or two, Cassie might go in and put PTO for you, but that doesn't mean, it doesn't equate to a paid PTO shift in Paycom. It just shows us, oh, Teresa's out and we know we can't schedule her for this week, kind of thing. So just so you know that. So anything in here is not talking to Paycom. So you might see, like I said, the PTO, you might see the holiday, none of that's going back into Paycom for any kind of pay code. It may show up later where we have a data sync between the two systems and we can use that together. But for now, it's not set up that way. So just so you know that. So you'll be able to view the schedule here. Like I showed you that 1 week, 2 week, 4 week, that month view. You can pull that up if that's something that you like to view in that, in that way on the calendar view, or like more of a spreadsheet style. You can look at it that way. And then just to kind of help you navigate through what's available here, we've got this calendar option. It's got a calendar sync button. This will sync with like your Google Calendar or whatever type of calendar you may use on your phone or device, which is nice. And you'll see these little buttons over here: new, acknowledged, approved, not approved, and notice. I'm going to show you what that means in the request. So if anybody has put in any kind of request, it's going to show up on this calendar also.
Okay, so, is there a way to filter out, if I sync it with my iCalendar, can I just put my shifts on it?
You can, and I'll show you that, what that looks like, and it's going to be over here under this this section. But on the My Request, so say, I know you work full time, but maybe you wanted to pick up an extra shift or two, you could put in a request to do that. So you could go here under My Request and click this new button, that's the green bubble. And you could go in, you should only see your name here under the staff member. And then you could put in a date, or even a whole week. Maybe you decide you want to work on Thanksgiving week. I doubt it, but maybe you do. And oh, I picked the wrong date. Sorry. Okay, so we're going to just put in the dates that whole week. And then under type, you can see this request to work. You can say, I'm available to work this week. So maybe there's somebody that needs to take off and you're available to work. You can just type that information in and then submit it. I'm not going to do it because Cassie will get a notification, but it'll send her a notification saying, hey, Teresa's available to work this week if you need anyone. Or maybe you've identified an open shift on the schedule that's open and you want to work that day, so you can do, just one day if you want to do it that way. But those are things that you can go in and request to do. You can also, in this section, you can request to swap a shift. So maybe you and, Stephen, maybe you want to swap a shift. So you would go in and pick Stephen's name as the person you want to swap with and add your notes here, whatever they may be. Maybe you've already talked about it with him, or maybe you're just requesting that swap. You can leave Cassie whatever notes you have on that, and she can go in and either approve or decline that. Any request you put in here is not going to automatically put you on the schedule. Cassie does have to review it and approve it before it's put onto the schedule. So just so you know that. And then maybe you need to cancel your shift. You can do that here. Or maybe you just need to leave a memo or something. Maybe, some examples I've seen are, hey, I've got a doctor's appointment and I need to be out for 3 hours and need somebody to cover during that time, or, something like that. You could put in a memo on that particular day for those types of things. The timesheet we will not use. Again, if we get down the road and we end up having a data exchange between Paycom and MyStaff schedule, we may use the timesheets, but for now, we will not use that option. And then the card option, which you guys probably won't use this, but you can actually go in and make assignments for people. This is more helpful in places where we've got, a lot of providers and they're assigned to different ORs or different surgeons and things like that. But I think for now, you guys probably won't use that option.
Right.
And then under the reports, you do have an option to look at your individual shifts. So like I know you guys are required to work a certain number of shifts per year. So you might want to go back to January the 1st. And I have loaded the 2025 schedule in completion. You just might want to see where you are year to date. So you could put in January 1st to today's date. Select your name, which my report's going to come up with nothing because I'm not on any schedules, but you can go pick a code. Maybe you want to know how many day shifts you've worked or how many, 24-hour call shifts you've worked. Whatever you pick here, you'll have to pick the option and then make sure you click set or it won't save your option there. And then options are just some things that I'll show you what options mean, but you probably wouldn't have to pick that for this purpose. And then you can select your days of the week. Otherwise, it's just going to choose all. And then you click get report. And again, mine's not going to say anything. See no data found. But for you, it would list all of your 2025 24-hour OB call shifts. So
nice.
if you needed to pull that and kind of know where you are, you could do that.
Okay. Can I look up the regular OR from here? Because I've been wanting to pick up some shifts downstairs.
Okay, so they are not live on this yet. We don't have everything completed on their schedule yet. I'm waiting to meet with JD and Dr. Saparia on that. So there's some things in there, but it's not accurate and true. And you'll get a separate email notifying you that you've been added to their schedule. And so you'll be able to see that, once they're live and going, and you'll get emails about that they're live and that kind of thing. So, okay. So under your name over here in the top right-hand corner, you have a couple of options here too. So under my profile, you can go in and, say you needed to change your email address. You could do that here. You could also add your phone number and it will send you text messages. Like if there's an open shift that's become available, or say you sent some kind of request over to Cassie to approve for swapping a shift or adding a shift, it would send you a text message when that's been approved. You can change your password here. And then you can set your notifications. So you can request all notifications here on the top. It should be on as a default. You can request open shift notifications. So if something opens up, you can be notified of that. And then you can turn your push notifications on for the mobile app here. So those are just some options you can do under that profile setting.
Okay.
Then if you go back under my schedules, this is just going to show you like all the facilities that you're associated with. So like you should see right now St. Francis Park OB. And then as we get St. Francis Park open with their schedule, that will add in for you too. So you can see all the schedules that you are associated with there. And then the calendar sync is what you were asking about on your iCloud calendar. So this gives you directions on how to do that and set that up so that it's syncing with your personal calendar. So you can walk through those instructions, and it takes a little bit to sync everything, and it'll be on your phone or your device. So you'll have that. Okay, and then below that is really just a couple of different ways to kind of learn more information. So there's the Help and FAQ section, and it goes to a separate portal where you can search for different things if you have questions, or you can bring up the list of FAQs. You can reach out to customer support. So just a couple of things if you needed any kind of help or wanted to learn more about a specific area of MyStaff schedule. And then there's also some training videos, and what they've done is they kind of break down like each individual thing and they make a short video clip. So if you wanted to watch a video clip on any specific area, you could do that. And like I said, they're short and sweet. They're nice and concise. I know you don't have a lot of time, but they break it down and they don't take long to watch. So if you wanted to do that, you do have that option there. And then there's also a contact us option. So if you click that, it's going to bring up this little ticketing system. So you can submit like a ticket for tech support if you're having an issue, if you're getting any kind of error code, or if if you're not seeing something right, just whatever the case may be, you can submit a ticket to them and they will, here's Stephen join it, and they will get back to you. Now, I will say, every time I've reached out to them, they are usually very quick to respond. It says their average response time is less than 2 hours. They're usually getting back with me within the hour on my issue. But it does say please allow up to 24 hours. So again, they're usually quick, but it could take up to 24 hours, I guess, in some cases. So you do have that option. And if you do run into any issues, you can reach out to me, or you can just email that scheduling at Lifelink email, and we'll get back to you if it's something we can help with. If not, sometimes we do still have to reach out to them too, because we're still learning some things as well on the whole system. So just making you aware that that's there. And then I do want to point out this on your schedule. I showed you how you could pull that individual shift report, but you'll also be able to see that information here. So you can see over to the side, it's got OB call, it's got holiday, OB day shift, and then PTO. So that OB call here, it's showing that year to date, you've worked 67 OB call shifts. So you can also find that information there as far as the number of shifts you've worked. And then I show you've done a couple of day shifts there. That's an option if you're just looking for that total number year to date. If you want to find out like how many you're scheduled for through the end of the year, you can click on the last week of the year. And actually, this one's going to show you starting in January because this week overlaps. But you could go to the very last full week of the year, and it'll show you. So it looks like you're scheduled for 79 shifts, which I think is what's in your agreement, correct?
If I remember correctly, yeah.
I think that's right. So that'll kind of tell you where you are. So and hey, Stephen, welcome to the call. How are you?
Hello, good, thank you.
Good deal. And Stephen, I'll go back and kind of redo what I've already shown Teresa with you in just a second. But Teresa, that's kind of really it for the system. It's very simple. It's very straightforward. Are there any questions you have? Is there anything that you think, gosh, I'm not seeing this, but I should, that maybe?
So if me and Stephen decide to swap shifts, we just go to requests. Is that where we would? Because I see that as the most often thing that I would be interested in.
Yeah, you go to my request, and then it'll pull up this screen, and you would just go to that new button, the green new button. And then when you see staff here, your name should be the only name you see there. And then you would go to whatever date it is. We'll just pick the 30th. And we'll end on the 30th. And then on the type, you would pick swap. Once you pick swap, this other field is going to pop up, and you'll be able to pick whatever staff member you want to trade with. So I'll pick Stephen here since you're both on the phone. And then, say you and Stephen have already talked about it. You would leave Cassie a note that says, hey, Stephen and I have talked about swapping this day. Everybody's okay with it, whatever you want to say to her. And then you can submit it. Now, this private button, you can click that if you don't want everybody to see it. If you don't click private, everybody in your group is going to see that you guys have requested to swap that day. And I'll show you what that looks like on another site. Let me just show you that.
So say we did like a 3-way swap where it wasn't just straightforward like that. Is there an individual sign that, like, say Stephen's going to take my 14th and Cassie's going to take my 17th, or I'm going to take her 17th and she's going to work one of Stephen's? Would you just do that under like individual? Because we do that a lot.
Yeah. So what you could do is let me think about it.
I'm just saying, is there an individual one where there's not an easy even swap, but
yeah,
like the 3 of you will even it out, but it won't automatically be
Yeah, I see what you're saying. And what you might do, because the swap feature only allows like two people to swap with each
Mhm.
other. So what you might do is go to that request to work or even other, and you could put in the
Okay.
details there and say, we've all talked and Teresa's going to work this day, Stephen's going to work this
Okay.
day, and Archer's going to work this day. And
Okay.
Cassie could go in and approve that, and then she could change that on the schedule.
Okay. I just want to make Cassie's life as easy as possible.
Yeah, agree. But yeah, that's how you could do that, that request, I would say, rather than just a swap shift. That works better
Okay.
for just two people.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Anything else that you can think of that you might want to know how to do, or that you think of you guys might be doing?
Um, do we actually ask for requests on here? Like, say I want to take spring break off for my son in college. Do we just submit those to Cassie, or is there a place in here that we can do it?
Yeah, so I talked to Cassie about that when we did our training, and if I remember right, there's a feature in my staff schedule called picks, and
Mhm.
you can actually a lot of the facilities will do this when they're like planning their year out for the next year,
Mhm.
and they'll have like a picks section where you can pick the weeks that you want off, so she can
Mhm.
kind of work around that as far as scheduling goes. It's not set up yet. Um,
Okay.
but I'm going to get that set up so you guys can use it. But basically, you would just go in and there'll be a tab up here called Picks,
Mhm.
and you could enter the time or the specific weeks or whatever that that you want to be off for that following year.
Okay. Great.
Okay.
I think those are the most common things that I would be interested in. Stephen, do you have anything specific?
And Stephen, I
Uh,
can kind of go back through the overview if you would like me to. I know Teresa and I talked about a few things before you joined, but do you have any questions so far?
no, I don't have any questions so far.
Okay, you should have gotten, Stephen, an email. I've literally sent it probably 15 minutes before the call with your login credentials. It would have come
Okay.
from my staff schedule directly. So you can use that information to log in. You could change your password once you log in for the first time. And there is a mobile app, so you can either use the browser version at mystaffschedule.com, or you can use the mobile app, or both. The mobile app's really nice. It gives a good view. It doesn't distort things like some apps do, and it's easy to use. So I encourage you to download that. Um, and then
I did not get an email.
you didn't get an email.
Telling me
Okay,
no.
hold on. I'm gonna
Um,
look and
And
see.
Cassie couldn't
I
find
don't.
the link to get in either.
Cassie couldn't do what?
Couldn't find the link, the Teams link that was emailed out. I don't know. Maybe it got lost in her mail or something.
Hmm.
I checked junk as well, and I don't see it in junk or.
Oh, I see what your issue is. Hold on, Stephen.
Okay.
I had a extra character, like two parentheses by accident in your email. Hold on. Let me redo that. So skelly11@gmail.com is right for you?
That is correct. Kelly with an EY, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Instead of the 11, I had two um I had a quotation mark instead, not parentheses.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Okay. Oh wait. Let's see. Um okay, let me tie you back to your account here. Okay, you should have an email now.
Okay. I have it.
Okay, perfect. So when you get logged in, you should have access to just St. Francis Park OB. I don't think you're credentialed to work anywhere else with us. Is that correct? I think I lost Stephen. I'll give him a minute to rejoin. So
Yeah,
did
after the
Teresa,
first of
did
the year,
Cassie
I'm really
want to
maybe
join?
picking up. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was saying, did Cassie want to join? Do I need to resend her the link?
I think that she probably knows what she needs to know if y'all have been working
Okay.
together.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so also, Pam Walton had asked me if I wanted to pick up some time at the Eye Center.
Mhm.
So I just contact you guys to be credentialed at other places, and it'll
Yeah,
open up the
so
schedule to me.
um yes. Um let me look. So we haven't started any kind of credentialing on you for that, right?
No, I mean she just mentioned it last week.
Okay.
Hey, do you want to come? Because she was picking up an OB, and I was like, yeah, I'd do the Eye Center. I have 2 kids in college. I need money.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Yeah, and I'm sure she would love the help over there. So Teresa, just real quick, are you wanting to pick up at the Memphis location, or are you also licensed in Mississippi?
I'm also licensed in Mississippi. I actually have a lake house near Corinth, and eventually, my mother is in memory care, but eventually, I'd like to pick up time in Corinth as well. So there's going to be several sites that I'm interested in.
Okay. Well, I know this is like side conversation, but we could definitely start your credentialing at ESG. And then do you want us to just go ahead and start credentialing at Corinth? And because it takes a little bit longer, and that way when you're ready, you have that,
That would
already
be
done.
awesome because I have a
Okay.
place in Iuka that it would be hard to do on call, but I could certainly pick up from my lake house to Corinth. It's a 20-minute drive from the lake, and I have a Mississippi license. You guys should have on file.
Okay, perfect. Well, I'll get our credentialing team started on both of those
Okay.
and we'll get you going there. So,
Okay. Great.
okay, Stephen, we lost you for a minute.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Then it wouldn't let me back in. So
I'm sorry.
I was
I'm
struggling.
sorry. So I think I was saying to you, when you log in, you should only have the option of St. Francis OB. I don't think you're credentialed anywhere else to work with us. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay, so you'll just have the one site. If you ever get credentialed elsewhere, you'll have those options as well. This is a site-wide platform that we'll be using.
Okay.
This is the view you'll have. So this kind of gives you a week at a time. I was showing Teresa, I think you were on for this part. It shows you on these columns at the very end how many shifts you've worked for each type for the year, year to date, depending on where you are on the calendar. Just some things to note. Under these blue bubbles up here, you can go to some different views. So you've got a 1 week view, a 2 week view, 4 weeks, or a month. Always pull up the month for an example. So if you wanted to look at the entire month of December, here we are. It tells you who's working when. You can also filter it. I don't think I told you this, Teresa, but if you wanted to filter, you could go to your staff button here and say, Stephen, you only wanted to see what you were working. So pick yourself, click set, and then hit this filter button, and that's going to give you your schedule. So if that's helpful at all, that's an option there. You can go to reset here to see the whole schedule. On holidays, you'll see this holiday code. We just enter that so that it doesn't show up as a shift that somebody, could take and they think it's available. Nothing in here transitions back to Paycom. So even if it says holiday or PTO, it doesn't mean that's like a pay code through Paycom. It's just showing us, hey, this is a holiday. We only need a call provider, or PTO might show, hey, Steven's, said he wants to be out this week and not work. So PTO just tells us Steven's off. So it's not transitioning back to Paycom for any kind of, pay purposes. So you
Okay.
have this view. You can also click the calendar view, and it's more of a traditional calendar here if you like that setup for a view. So just a couple options there. And then back to the main dashboard here, you've got calendars. Calendars is going to show, it'll sync your calendar, but it'll show anything that's been requested here on those requests where we were talking about like swapping shifts or requesting to work. It'll show if it's a new request, if it's been approved, that kind of thing here. And then my request is where you go to actually request to work. If you want to pick up an additional shift, if you see something's open, that kind of thing, you can request that here. And you saw us go through that. You can also do that swap shift, or like the situation Teresa described, if there's 3 of you and you've got 3 different days and you've all decided to swap them, you could leave Cassie a note through the other function here, and she could go in and review and approve that.
Okay.
The timesheet option, you don't have to worry about. We won't be using that because this is not syncing back to Paycom at this point. The card feature you really won't use. This is where you can make assignments for providers for certain ORs or surgeons or whatever. And then reports, you can do an individual shift report. If you wanted to know for yourself, how many day shifts have I worked, or how many 24-hour shifts, or, whatever. You can select the code, make sure to click set after you select the one you want, and then get report. Mine's going to say nothing because I haven't worked anything, but that's how you would do that. And I do want to show you guys on schedules. So sometimes if Cassie hasn't filled an open shift, it'll pop up here at the top as an open shift. So like, let's just look at this week here. So say, Teresa, I'm going to take you, well, hold on. I can't do it from the screen. I've got to log into my other browser. I'm going to take you off the schedule just for that day so y'all can see what it looks like when you have an open shift that's available for pickup. Because that's another way that you could also, request to work. So I'm going to take Teresa off. I'm going to refresh my screen here. So see how it popped up here, this OB call bubble, and then it tells us, oh, we have 0 out of 1 OB call providers. So you would see this, and you could actually go into this little bubble here, and you would select yourself, select if you can take the full shift, first half, last half, partial. Ideally, we want you to take the full shift. So you would select that. If there's any comment you need to make to Cassie, you would put that here and then click sign up. And then Cassie's going to receive that, and she can either approve it or decline it. So, and you may get notifications on the mobile app, or you may get emails or texts if you have your phone number set up in there, about, oh, there's this shift that's opened up. So I've added you back, Teresa, so we don't make any mistakes here and see that bubble's gone away.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so that's really kind of it. So Stephen, can you think of any other questions, or Teresa, anything else from your side?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head. Those were the most common things that I knew I would be using.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Well, the schedule is populated through 2025. And I know Cassie said you guys will be working on the 2026 schedule. So we are good to go live with this. I'm going to send out the recording of this meeting to everyone. You guys will get it too, but those who weren't able to join, they'll be able to watch it and spread the word, with your coworkers. If they have questions or if they need to connect with me directly, I'm happy to do that, to show them anything that they might need help with. Tell them to look for their email for their access. And like I said, I'll get this recording out so everybody can watch it and start using it. And again, scheduling at lifelink.com, or you can put in a ticket here under this, under your name here with the contact us feature, and it'll go to MyStaff schedule.
Cool.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right.
That was helpful.
Yeah, thank you both. I'm glad you guys joined, and y'all let us know if you need anything, and just look for my email soon with the recording.
Okay, and
Awesome.
let me know if I need to submit anything for that credentialing on those 2 places.
They'll reach out to you, Teresa.
Okay.
It'll probably be Jordan, Warren. Tammy Kraft is out with she's out for a little bit with an injury to her neck. But anyway, Jordan will probably reach out to you to get paperwork going on both of these. And that way we can get you working at both of those locations. Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you both. I hope you both have a great evening.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.